really want to talk about the reign of Kylie as well, because it is one of the most memorable reigns of a Miss International, because you've been to so many countries. You set the bar so high that it became like, a lot of international pageant fans became more aware of the Miss International brand because of you.
Because of Kylie.
Thanks to you, because you really worked so hard to carry the Miss International sash and the brand name whenever you travel to how many continents? Like 5 continents. So which is really very admirable. Were you really that kind of girl, like, if you really want to do something, like for example, going to different places, you would really push for it? Or is there any other driving force that made you really want to do more, like going to different countries and spread your advocacy?
I wanted to make the most out of my reign. I know it's only going to be a year. I know I'm only going to be Miss International 2016 for a year. So I wanted to make it count. And I just wanted to make it worthwhile. And what I really wanted to do, I really wanted to travel. I wanted to travel with the crown. So I tried looking for opportunities. Even myself, parang I really wanted to. Parang I made down the list of things I wanted to do. I wanted to travel. I wanted to visit this and this. Maybe I can help host a pageant here, or maybe I could do a judge here. And I would submit all these things to Miss International to Makoto. And but yeah, and one thing I really wanted to do was to do or focus on my advocacy here in the Philippines. It's something I really held dear, and I wanted to focus on that because that was my own personal journey that I went through, that I felt needed to be heard. And I was just so grateful. It came out organically. It wasn't ever forced, because when you do ask someone who's been through depression if you've been depressed and they're not ready to talk about it, it might be, alarming for them. But for me, it came out naturally. And thankfully, when I started speaking up about my experiences or what I went through, then a lot of people started saying, hey, you know what, I went through it as well. Am I going through it? They started to question themselves. Baka ako din depressed, or you know what, baka anak ko din depressed, or you know what, that's why pala. And ultimately, what I wanted to do was to help save lives, because I've experienced sometimes it's too close to home, relatives who have committed suicide because of depression that was left untreated. And if I could just save a life, sabi ko, if I could just save a life, then this would mean so much. I understand mental health is just hard to talk about because it's widely being spoken about. But it's so hard to equate how many people you've helped, because it's not something you can really quantify. For example, you go and feed children, you can count, you know what, I've helped 20 children, 50 children today, 100. Mental health is something that happens with our minds, with ourselves. Diba? So you can't really say, you know what, I've helped this amount of people. So, but I think it's still very important to talk about, because it's, especially during 2016, 2017, it was barely talked about by people. And you always had to come out as this strong woman or person out in the media that people look up to, but not knowing, not acknowledging that, hey, I'm here because of all my struggles. I'm here because of all the hardships I've been through. So let's talk about that. Let's have a conversation about it. And then another version was, I want to talk about depression, what it really is. I've been through it, and it's okay. Let's get treatment. Let's get help. So those are the things I wanted to do during my reign.
And you did very well, Kylie.
Thank you.
And I want to add to that na, alala ko kasi, before you won Miss International, parang the other major pageants, parang the advocacy hindi masyadong focus. But when you became Miss International 2016 and you championed your personal advocacy, parang it was a wake-up call to the pageant community na we have to support our queens with their personal advocacies. As in, yun talaga yung parang, kumbaga kung sasabihin nila, the Kylie effect.
You started it, Kylie.
You started it all, I think. It's a personal opinion. You started it all.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because other beauty queens, they are just doing the advocacy that is already being sponsored or being like, for example, let's say Miss Universe. Miss Universe is already connected with HIV/AIDS advocacy and breast cancer awareness. So whoever wins gets to promote this kind of advocacy, right? But in your case, you have a very personal advocacy, which is mental health, and then personal, and then you carry it on with you as a Miss International. And from then on, other girls started to realize that, yeah, maybe I should have my own personal advocacy before I go into the pageant. You started it, Kylie.
Oh my God, thank you. Those are such big words to hear and such, wow.
Did you even realize that you actually really started this thing? You
No,
revolutionized the pageantry, you know?
No, not at all. It's just something I wanted to really talk about. It was my personal journey that I wasn't even sure. Parang I was even questioned in the beginning. Are you sure you want to talk about this? This is such a sad advocacy. People were telling me, you should do something na makikita ng tao. Those are the things I was getting as comments. And sabi ko, why? I think this needs to be heard. I think my survival of this, my survival needs to be heard, needs to be celebrated. That's what I was thinking. It needs to be celebrated. So yeah, now we're as times change, we're trying to veer into different ways. How else can promote mental health? I'm so glad more and more people are talking about it. I'm so glad it's being spoken about more now. So what else? What now? Diba? We're as an organization, or even my organization, we're thinking about what are we going to teach about mental health now? Which direction are we going to go? Holistic? Are we, diba? So that's the challenge of having an organization.
Yeah, and I have to add too, dahil nga sobrang organic nung advocacy mo, sobrang siyang napag-usapan. And one example is, in our company, we celebrate a mental health awareness week every year. And I think it's one of the effects is because you put it into the spotlight na ito dapat pag-usapan.
Oh. I feel.
And also, sinusuportahan din ng company yung, I think a lot of companies now support na meron na rin silang support for mental health.
Yes. It makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good that people are realizing how important it is. Because for all these years, parang we tend to just push it away, and having this in the spotlight, it makes you tend to think, yes, how is my mental health? What are the things affecting me? What are my beliefs that I can change? It's about it's so wide, but ngayon siguro it's more of self-love. How are you taking care of yourself? Diba? So it's so many different things. It's so broad. Mental health is such a broad spectrum, and I'm so glad na. But the thing is, I think it's not only me. It's not only me who began, but it's all these other people who started speaking up about mental health.
Yeah, sure.
We've been going through. A lot of celebrities also have spoken up. So I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful.
Yeah, maiba naman ako. I'm just very curious. You're one of the most traveled, I think, Miss International. I think Stephen
The
would agree.
most, actually.
Yeah.
No?
You've been to Singapore, Brunei, Paraguay. You've been to Europe during your reign. So among all those travels, ano yung pinaka most memorable for you?
I loved Paraguay. Paraguay. One, dahil malayo talaga. It's like far. Oh my God, so many. Paraguay. I went to France, Brussels. Inikot namin yun with Katya from Miss Netherlands.
Yes, yeah. Our national director, Katia Mais.
Miss International National Director for Netherlands. And they brought us around Bruges. It was in Brussels, Belgium. No, sorry, not Brussels. I
Bruges
like
in
Amsterdam,
Amsterdam.
and then we went to France, and then we ended up in Paris with the girls.
Yeah, because the national director of Netherlands and Belgium is just one person, and she's friends with the national director of France. So they were able to like just connect all of these three countries. When you were there, they hosted you in Bruges, and you went to Amsterdam, and then you also went to Paris for the Miss International France.
Yes, and it's so beautiful. I feel sometimes I never showed it enough because I don't know. I guess yeah, it was just on my Instagram. It was on the Miss International page, but it was so beautiful. We ended up in Paris. Actually, Katya was like, "Are you sure?" Katya was not allowing us to go to Paris because she wanted to guide the girls. And hello, if you had a queen who was visiting, don't you want to always have an eye on her? Anong mangyari sa kanya? And I'm gonna let her go to Paris. But it's okay, it's a once in a it's a once in a lifetime experience. I have to go. So I had a field trip for the girls in Paris. So much fun. And Paraguay was also fun. It took me 5 flights to get there, 2 days.
Oh wow!
2 days. Iwata called me and was like, Kylie, we have a problem. He goes, and I was like, oh, what is it? Is it canceled or something? Why are they canceling? No, originally it was 4 flights. Now it's 5 flights. Sabi ko, yeah, it's okay. Syempre, I really wanted to travel, di ba? Alam mo naman what I say no. I landed in LA. From LA, I went to Paraguay. 2 flights to LA. 1 flight to Paraguay. I got stopped in the immigration because you needed a special passport for that. So I thought I was gonna make it, but thankfully I got there after 2 days. It felt like the Philippines, Paraguay, parang Manila.
Sunshine.
Yes, parang New Manila. It was very close to home, and it was very close to home. And then we crossed the border to Argentina, where I saw the
Iguazu Falls.
Iguazu Falls, like one of my favorite, most beautiful places I've ever been to. I think one of the 7 wonders of the world. I posted it recently, just to
Throwback.
yeah, those are the fun times and experiences. As Miss International, I really wanted to travel. That was one of my like I really wanted to travel the world. One off. So thankfully naman I got to do it. All thanks to Miss International.
Imagine how many countries you would have traveled if I was already there as a staff.
I know, you're late.
I'm 2 years late, sorry.
You're 2 years late.
Mariam got to travel to so many countries as well.
So insistent. Actually, to the point na nakukulitan na ata si Iwata. Hi, what do you think of this, and that? I would suggest to them the things I could do, diba? And they were just so supportive. Yes, okay, go do that. But I would always suggest, what if I do this, and that? Yeah, go ahead, go. We think it's a good idea. Okay.
Well, actually, because of that, Kylie, again, I would like to thank you for that one as well, because it became a premise. There's always a precedent, in things that we do right now. And then whenever I suggest the same thing, I would say, what about Kylie? She did it. I was like, yeah, okay, that was good. Yeah, so that's why they allowed like Mariam to go to Mexico, to Panama, to different countries. And then, like, what about Kylie? She also did the same thing, right? You've been revolutionizing a lot of things, but sometimes I just didn't tell you. But
It's okay.
always refer to Kylie.
And I also parang proactive. You have to
Yeah,
be
proactive. Yeah, you really have to be proactive. That's true.
as a queen talaga. You really have to even at work or anything, whatever they give you, be proactive. You can't just wait there
Yeah.
waiting for them to give you work. Find work. Diba? Use your connections. Use the people around you. Why don't you ask? It's just ask or suggest yourself or volunteer for something.
Mhm.
It all starts there. Who knows who you're gonna meet or what opportunities you're gonna get after. But be proactive. Don't just wait and just
Yeah.
hope na, you know what, I'm gonna do this and that. I was always proactive.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I advised Mariam after she won, because we talked about what I'm gonna do for 1 year, and then I told her, like, because she remembers, like, Kylie went to different places, blah blah blah, and so, like, actually you only become a queen for a year. Now it depends on you and how you work on that one. So yeah, that's the right term that you said, being proactive. And she actually did her advocacy as well. You had your own advocacy, and I asked her, what is your advocacy, what you really wanted to do? And she said, like, book reading, making kids appreciate how to read books. So she was really very specific, and even until now she's still doing it. So see, like, you became a role model of girls to have their own personal advocacy, not just some made up advocacy, but more like what is really close to their heart, and then they do it.
Organic.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
And now,
Here.
yeah, at this point, I want to read some questions that we asked our readers earlier. So there's a question from Instagram, and I think Stephen and or Kylie can answer this. Did the Miss International Organization give you a replica of the crown?
Oh.
no.
No.
No, we're not given a replica of the crown, even the runners up. Diba, Stephen?
No, we don't. The last time that a replica was given was in 2012, because from 2013 we have a different crown sponsor. So yeah, unfortunately, I wish we could do the same thing, but it's the crown sponsor basically. Yeah, the pearls are still Mikimoto, but the producer of the crown until 2012 was a totally different company, and then from 2013 we're just using the Mikimoto crown during the final night that you put on your head, and there's no more replica.
So they don't give the small
No
gold
more. Only until
The tiara.
2012. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah.
used to give.
Yeah. We should actually. We're thinking about it actually. Seriously, we did mention about that, because Miss Mexico 2007, Priscilla, I think she lost her crown or something. And she's asking for a copy, and we're like, we're not anymore. We're not anymore in connection with the sponsor. So how could we get a replica for her? But yeah, that actually came out as a subtopic from the many topics that we were discussing.
Yeah. And then one of the most popular questions in our live now is, since the top crown now in Binibining Pilipinas is Miss International Philippines, who do you think are the top contenders this year?
Oh, shoot.